The sun hung high over Stanford's campus, bathing the sprawling lawns in a golden glow. The air buzzed with anticipation, filled with the chatter of families and the rustle of black gowns. I stood on the stage, my heart thumping against my ribs, clutching my diploma like a lifeline. 4 years of sleepless nights, endless coding projects, and relentless effort had led to this moment, graduating with honors in computer science. As my name, Ethan Carter, echoed through the auditorium, I crossed the stage, shaking the dean's hand, his smile warm and genuine. The applause roared, but my eyes darted to the crowd, searching for my family. There they were, Dad Robert, his face alight with pride, eyes glistening. Noah, my younger brother, cheering with a fist in the air, and Mom Vivian sitting stiffly, her lips pressed into a thin line. No warmth, no pride, just a cold, judgmental stare that pierced through my triumph. My stomach twisted. Even now, on this day of victory, I wasn't enough for her. At the reception held in a grand hall adorned with balloons and twinkling lights, I tried to savor the moment classmates slapped my back. Their congratulations, a fleeting comfort. But Vivian's presence loomed like a shadow. When she approached, her heels clicking on the polished floor, I braced myself. "Ethan, congratulations," she said, her voice flat, devoid of warmth. "Thanks, Mom," I replied, forcing a smile, hoping for a shred of approval. "But really, I expected more," she continued, her words sharp as a blade. "Look at Emily Wilson. She's interning at Google with a job offer from Apple. What do you have? Just a degree?" The words stung, slicing through my pride. I'd poured everything into my studies, sacrificed friendships and sleep. Yet in her eyes, I was a failure. My throat tightened, but I swallowed the urge to argue. I'd learned long ago that challenging Vivian was like shouting into a void. Instead, I nodded, excused myself, and headed to the bar. The clink of glasses and laughter fading into a dull hum. That night, in my childhood bedroom, her words replayed like a broken record. Just a degree. The weight of her disapproval pressed against my chest, suffocating. I was done. Done trying to mold myself into her vision of perfection. Done living for her validation. By morning, I was scouring job listings across the country. When Technova in Seattle offered me a position as a software engineer, I accepted without hesitation. It wasn't just a job. It was an escape. Seattle greeted me with open arms, its skyline a jagged silhouette against the misty mountains. My apartment in Capitol Hill was small but vibrant, nestled among coffee shops and street art. The city pulsed with life ferries gliding across Puget Sound, the scent of pine and salt water in the air. At Technova, I thrived, leading a team within 2 years, my salary affording me a life I'd only dreamed of. I hiked with colleagues like Zoe, who shared my love for the rugged trails of the Cascades, her laughter a bright spot in my days. Yet beneath the surface, a void lingered. I called home every few weeks, but the conversations were hollow. Vivian's questions were always the same. "How much are you earning? Are you dating someone suitable?" She never asked about my passions, my fears, my dreams. Dad was kind, but distant, his voice soft, deferring to her. Noah, caught up in his studies at UCLA, was a world away. I kept friends at a distance, haunted by Vivian's voice. "You're not good enough." It was a shadow I couldn't outrun. I'd lie awake at night, staring at the city lights through my window, wondering if I'd ever feel whole. Success was mine, but it felt fragile, like a house of cards waiting to collapse under the weight of my mother's judgment. My grandfather's death hit me harder than I expected. He was Vivian's father, a quiet man whose kindness was a rare comfort in my childhood. After his funeral, we gathered at his house, a sprawling Victorian filled with memories. In his study, surrounded by dusty books and faded photographs, I found a letter addressed to me tucked in a drawer. Its edges were worn, the ink slightly faded, but it was in his meticulous handwriting. My hands trembled as I opened it. "Dear Ethan," it began, "I've wanted to tell you this for years, but I didn't know how your mother has a secret. A daughter born before you given up for adoption. Her name is Sarah. She's tried to contact the family, but Vivian hasn't been welcoming. You deserve to know. A sister." The words blurred as my mind spun. How could Vivian keep this from me, from all of us? The letter said Sarah had reached out, but Vivian had shut her out. Anger surged hot and raw, but beneath it was a deeper hurt betrayal. Not just of me, but of a sister I'd never known. I confronted Vivian that evening, my voice shaking. "Mom, who's Sarah?" Her face froze, but she recovered quickly, laughing it off. "Sarah. What nonsense is this? Don't lie to me," I pressed, holding up the letter. "Grandpa told me everything." She dismissed it, her voice sharp, but I saw the flicker of fear in her eyes. I knew she was hiding something. I hired a private investigator, dipping into my savings. Months later, he delivered Sarah Thompson, 32, an artist in New York City, married with 2 children. She'd been adopted as a baby and had spent years searching for her birth family, only to be met with silence. Vivian had intercepted her letters, even paid her to stay away. The truth was a tidal wave crashing over me. How could she do this? Not just to me, but to Sarah, to our family. I felt like I was drowning in her lies. Then I learned my parents were in financial trouble. Their house, my childhood home, was at risk of foreclosure, buried under bad investments and Dad's medical bills. An idea formed cold and calculated. I'd buy their mortgage not to save them, but to force Vivian to face the truth. I contacted a bank and purchased the mortgage anonymously, draining a chunk of my savings. It was a gamble, but it gave me power I'd never had before. I waited for the right moment to strike. That moment came at their 30th wedding anniversary party. The house was alive with guests, the air thick with the scent of roses and champagne. Balloons floated above tables draped in white linen, and soft music played in the background. But I was an outsider, my heart racing with purpose. I pulled Vivian into the study, closing the door behind us. The room was dim lit only by a single lamp, its walls lined with bookshelves that smelled of old leather. "Mom, we need to talk," I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside. She frowned, her eyes narrowing. "Ethan. Not now. We have guests." "It's important," she sighed, sinking onto the leather couch. "Fine. What is it?" "I know about Sarah." Her face paled, but she forced a laugh. "Who?" "Don't lie to me, Mom. I know you had a daughter before me. My sister, and you gave her up. I've met her." She tried to deny it, but I pulled out a folder. Adoption papers, bank statements, intercepted letters. Her composure shattered, and she sank deeper into the couch, tears welling up. "I was 18, she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Your father and I weren't ready. We thought adoption was best for her." "Best for her? Or for you?" I snapped, my anger spilling over. "She wanted to know us, and you paid her to disappear." I was afraid, she admitted, her voice breaking. Afraid of what it would do to our family, to you, to everything we'd built, everything you'd built. "You mean your control over us, making us feel like we're never enough?" She didn't answer, but the guilt in her eyes said enough. The door creaked open, and Dad, Aunt Olivia, and Noah stepped inside. I'd texted them to join us. They needed to hear this. I laid out everything, showing them the documents. Dad's face drained of color. He'd been clueless. Aunt Olivia nodded, her suspicions confirmed. Noah exploded, shouting at Vivian for her lies. "But I had one final card. I've bought your mortgage, Mom. The house is mine now. Unless you agree to family therapy and start being honest, I'll sell it." She stared at me, shock and fear in her eyes. "You wouldn't?" "Try me," I said, my voice like steel. She broke down, sobbing into her hands. "I'm sorry, Ethan. I'm so sorry." It was a start, but I knew tears alone wouldn't heal the wounds she'd inflicted. Therapy was grueling. Vivian had to face her need for control rooted in her own upbringing by strict image-obsessed parents. She'd learned to manipulate to feel secure, and she'd passed that pain onto us. Slowly, she began to change, but it was a long road. Meanwhile, I reached out to Sarah. I sent her an email introducing myself as her brother. Her response was cautious but curious. After weeks of emails and calls, she agreed to meet me in New York. I arrived at a cozy cafe in Greenwich Village, my heart racing. The air was thick with the scent of roasted coffee, and soft jazz played in the background. Sarah sat by the window, a sketchbook open before her. When our eyes met, it was like seeing myself in a mirror. Same dark hair, same green eyes, same hesitant smile. "Sarah," I asked, my voice catching. She stood extending her hand. "Ethan, it's so good to meet you." We hugged awkwardly, then sat the silence heavy with unspoken questions. We talked for hours, sharing our lives. She spoke of her art, her family, her years of searching for us. I told her about Vivian's manipulations, the letter from Grandpa, the truth I'd uncovered. "I thought you didn't want me," she said softly, her eyes glistening. "It wasn't us," I assured her. "It was Mom." She was scared. Sarah was hesitant to meet our parents, but I convinced her things were changing. When she visited California, it was emotional. Vivian apologized, tears streaming down her face. Sarah was guarded, but kind, saying she just wanted to understand. The lake house secret grandpa had left me his lake house, a weathered retreat on a quiet lake, its wooden siding kissed by years of sun and rain. Restoring it became my sanctuary. The lake shimmered under the morning sun, its surface a mirror for the towering pines. Sarah often joined me, and we'd work together, sanding floors until our hands ached, painting walls in soft blues and creams. One day in the attic, I found a loose floorboard. Curious, I pried it up, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside were bundles of letters tied with ribbon and faded photographs. My hands shook as I opened a letter from Vivian to Grandpa, written when she was pregnant with Sarah, begging for help. There were letters from Sarah sent over the years, pleading to reconnect, and letters from Grandpa to me intercepted by Vivian, urging me to find the truth. I showed them to Sarah and Vivian. We sat in the lake house's living room, the fire crackling, and read them together. Vivian admitted she'd hidden the letters, too ashamed to let them surface. They were her way of burying her past. Those letters shifted something in me. They didn't erase her mistakes, but they showed me Vivian as a person, flawed, scared human. Today, our family is different. Vivian is still in therapy, learning to love us for who we are. Our relationship isn't perfect, but it's honest. Sarah is a cornerstone of our lives, her laughter filling the lake house during weekend visits with her family. The house now restored is a haven of new memories, its creaky floors and sunlit rooms a testament to resilience. I've found peace valuing myself beyond Vivian's judgments. The lake house, with its hidden letters and renewed beauty, reminds me that truth can heal even the deepest wounds. Family is messy, but with honesty and love, it can be beautiful.